Hey guys, it's Ihasnotomato here, and welcome to what I'm thinking of calling a new series, Ihasnotomato Responds. A series which is more of a slowed down discussion type video where I kind of just discuss a topic and it's a lot more calmer and cooler than normal. I want to make more videos of this kind of discussion style because they're a lot easier to make than my super big bloody review videos and stuff like that, which they're not going away anyway. I just want to give you guys more content in the meantime while I make them. But today I thought I'd talk about a topic that seems to show its head around every other month or so. Whether or not I believe TF2 is dying. Is it a dead game? What do I think? And I want to just clarify right off the bat. To summarize, no, I don't think it's a dead game. I think the reasons as to why I believe that are fairly obvious, but I thought, you know, it might just be interesting to hear my 2 cents on the topic. It's something that everyone's sort of talked about before, and I don't know, I just want to give my thoughts on it. So I suppose I'll just get right into it and say, no, I really don't think the TF is dead, first off, because obviously it's still alive, people are still playing it, and the game is still being updated. In my opinion, for a game to truly die, it needs both the players and the developers to sort of lose interest in it, so to speak. Say what you will about the TF team, but I truly believe that the developers are still very interested in TF. Although the team is very small, you know, I think that team that remains is still very passionate about the game, and although, you know, updates are few and far between, they're still there, and the updates, in my opinion, are filled with passion, genuine love for the game. My reasoning behind this is because the updates that we do get, a lot of the time, especially recently, they've been sponsors to the community and stuff like that. Take, for instance, just the recent Blue Moon update, which just came out of nowhere with just a bunch of fixes and changes and community requests and things like that, changing around all these weapons and items and matchmaking and stuff, which they didn't have to do. Everyone is expecting this to happen in the next major update, the heavy update, but they did it anyway. And for me, that says a lot. That the fact that they just went out of the way, just made a random update out of the blue that just had enough content that honestly it could have been a major update out of nowhere. And I don't know, that says a lot to me. I think a good comparison to make would be to DayZ, which still gets updated to this day, but first off, that game is what, still in beta or something? And I think it's notorious for most of its updates and stuff just being cosmetic. Oh, we've changed the gravel texture or whatever, instead of fixing huge game-breaking bugs. You know, it doesn't feel like the developers actually care. It feels like that they're more pushing out content and updates just to try and keep the game alive, instead of actually addressing what makes the game good. You know, and I think that's what the TF team does so well. The updates take a long time, but I feel like they're worth it for the most part, especially these last 2 updates, Jungle Inferno and the Blue Moon update. I don't know, I just feel a lot of love coming off of them, a lot of passion going into it. You know, Jungle Inferno was a huge update. It sparked like some new life into the game. Blue Moon update was just like a really nice welcome surprise of just passion. Kind of harping on the one little thing here, but I really do think that it just says a lot to me that the TF team does care. They do still play the game. They still enjoy the game. They're still incredibly passionate. There might not be many of them working on the team, but they still love it. And as a result, the players love it too, you know? Of course, you have your die-hard fans like me who will be playing it till the end of days anyway. I think that it's really cool that, you know, 10 years down the line, they're still working on it. I mean, how many games can you say are 10 years old and still going? Like, I'd say maybe a handful of games, really. Like, still being updated and still being thought about and still have a huge fan base to it. TF's fan base is pretty huge. Maybe it's more niche than it used to be, but if you look for it, it's there. It's certainly there. And the community as well is just huge and amazing. There's so many huge passion projects going on. Look no further than the workshop and all the thousands and thousands of items that people have made for a game that they're passionate about. They're doing that kind of stuff for free. They just want to do it because they love it. Making SFM videos, participating in the Saxy Award, making artwork, videos, other YouTubers. I just think that's a thriving community to me. It's not like a community where there's like one YouTuber and maybe a couple of people working on the workshop, and I think, no, this is a thriving community. Maybe we're not super well known anymore. Maybe other games like Overwatch or whatever are far more popular, but I still think that just because it's more popular doesn't mean that TF isn't. you know, and that's my perspective on it. I think for TF2 to really die, it would need both the developers and the players to lose interest. And I really don't see that happening anytime soon. I don't think either the players or the developers particularly want TF to die. I think that they're all still passionate about it. We're all still here. We're all excitedly waiting for the next update. And, you know, and there are still new players coming in every single day as well. It is a free game, so it attracts a lot of attention like that. But again, it might not be in its heyday, but it's still there. You know, it's still going. But I suppose to sort of address that and to kind of get into a part 2 of this video, although I believe that the TF2 isn't dead or necessarily dying, it's definitely not at the peak of its popularity anymore. And I honestly think that's just a natural thing to happen. Nothing's going to be at its peak forever. But I do think that TF2 has potential to bring it back. I have some ideas of how they can encourage a new audience and even maybe bring back the older people that have left the game. And to put it quite simply, that's competitive. You see, back in the day, TF2 had a bit of a big bang moment, which sort of brought it way back into the limelight, boosted its popularity tenfold, and that was when the game went free to play. And that was like the perfect choice for it to do back then because it just brought in so many new people. So my thoughts are, if you want to sort of bring TF2 back into the mainstream light, you're going to have sort of another big bang. What do I think that'll be? Well, competitive. And yeah, I know we've already got a competitive mode, and yes, we have third-party competitive modes, which are still very popular, but I'm saying you really gotta push it. Now, if you guys know me, I'm not even a competitive player, but I know the importance of competitive mode. Esports and competitive games, I mean, to put it quite frankly, they're in right now. They're a big thing. They're a huge thing, in fact. There are so many games currently out there right now which people exclusively play for the competitive mode. And I mean, to put it flat out, TF2's competitive mode is slowly getting better, but I think it really needs an extra sort of push. I think what it needs is to be able to really balance itself out, really refine its competitive mode, and then the next step, big step, is to advertise it again. When TF2 went free to play, it did sort of do like a re-advertising kind of thing, what with Meet the Medic and stuff like that, sort of telling everyone, hey, remember this game? It's free now, kind of thing, and that's what brought in a whole new audience. And I think if they were to do the same with competitive mode after they've, you know, really fixed it and stuff like that, which from what I understand, it's pretty well fixed now. I think there might be a couple of problems still, but it's getting there. It needs to kind of just say to the world, hey, remember this game? It's got a competitive scene, and it's getting big. I really think that if TF2 wants to bring itself back into the limelight and sort of have a second or maybe even third wind, it needs to sort of sell itself again, you know? These days, people are interested in competitive, they're interested in esports, and now it's time to advertise to them. Say, hey, remember this game? It's got a rising competitive scene. Come join, be a part of it. And I honestly, truly think that that's the thing that TF2 needs if it wants to stay relevant, so to speak. I don't mean to say it necessarily in a harsh way or anything like that, but it's true. TF2 really isn't that relevant anymore, but it has potential to. I truly believe all the pieces are there. It's just a matter of putting them together and following through. Of course, I don't know how much the TF2 team are into the idea of selling it as a competitive game. From my understanding, they seem decently keen to get it working and having it fully supported, and even starting some proper esport competitions and stuff like that, what have you. Like I said, I'm not even a competitive player, but I do understand the importance of the competitive mode. It's a shame that Meet Your Match didn't really follow through, but I don't think it's too late necessarily. Of course, at the end of the day, if none of this happens, that's fine. Honestly, I still love TF2, and like I said, I really truly think that both the developers and the players will have to completely give up on TF2 before it actually properly dies. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this little commentary series. Please let me know if you did, and if you have any topics similar to the one I talked about today, please let me know that as well. I have a few topics that I would like to go over, but I am always keen to hear suggestions and ideas in future. But anyway, I have been Ihasnotomato, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!